Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. I intended to get these two done earlier, but yesterday became a clean up the house day. Well, I did my dishes, took the garbage out, wiped off the counters and the stove. So I did a little cleaning. That's the cleaning I wanted to get done. Took a shower, shaved my head, all that stuff. So I thought maybe I could get some done, and I just ended up binge watching stuff on YouTube, um, and also dealing with this stupid uh, sinus problem. As you can tell, I sound nasally, but I'm finally getting to this big LT after requesting me to do this many years ago. I'm finally doing this. Both of these the Pink Panther ones, the Steve Martin ones, are on HBO Max. If you want to watch the original ones, all the original ones, but I'm not gonna sit through all those. Those are on Tubi. So as you can imagine, being I only watched the first one and that one didn't have Dreyfus in it, so I'm not used to the character. But like I said, I watched Hats Off Entertainment's videos on it. Uh, so it seemed like it's sort of in character here. I just think that the acting choice was not right for Dreyfus. Kevin Kline has played villains before, wasn't he? No, that was Kenneth Branagh, wasn't he? He was in Wild Wild West, but he wasn't the villain. He was the guy who dressed up in costumes. But still, I don't know. It almost felt like Dreyfus was the main villain, and the guy who I called as soon as they showed him on the fucking screen. Pardon my French. Le fucking screen. Was sort of in the background for most of the movie, while it was Dreyfus, or Dreyfus, how you pronounce it, that was pulling the strings to make sure Clouseau didn't get it right. It was the plot of this movie is that Jason Statham is murdered. Yeah, that was a bizarre cameo. Like this guy, Gouin, or whatever his name is. He's like was he French royalty or is he just the head of this French football team? He's murdered. And I'm like, is that Jason Statham? And then he's murdered. And I'm like, oh. Okay. He didn't have any lines in the movie. He's just there. He's murdered, and because Dreyfus wants all of the glory in finding out who did it, he's going to hire Clouseau to catch the public eye and get all the attention. He and a few other inspectors, competent ones, try to figure out who is behind it. My problem is his plan doesn't lead him anywhere, and he ends up using what Clouseau's conclusion on who did it. And of course he ends up being wrong because he listened to Clouseau. But then Clouseau figures out who actually did it, who again, as soon as he walked on screen, I'm like, he did it. It's him. It's obvious. Spoilers. The Russian guy who works for the French football team. Kind of like a sore thumb, innit? As soon as they showed him, he's like, I am working for football team. I am coach. I am, what is he? I am assistant coach or something like that. And I'm like, he did it. My main problem is that it's not all the movies, but it's called The Pink Panther. And yes, they're after the Pink Panther because it's been stolen. But it never actually stolen. Hey, and I'll give you this. The Pink Panther being stolen is faster than it was stolen at the end of the original. Because like in the original, it wasn't actually stolen, but the, what's her face? The Baba? What was her name? Bala? Bala? She took it and she put it in she took it from the thing, whatever. Where in this one, it was given to Beyonce, who's playing Beyonce, but they give her a name Xenia, but she's Beyonce. But as a engagement ring, which why the hell would you have that giant ass diamond finger? Oh, and by the way, unlike the original where it's a clear white diamond with a little bit of a pink in the middle that looks like a panther, they just made it all pink, which immediately made me, yeah, okay, they really, it's the Pink Panther, so it's all pink now instead of just a little thing in it. Yeah. There's some decent comedy, but it always feels like they try to go too much with it. Like, there's this whole thing where he goes to Beyonce's hotel room. I know she has a name, but I'm just calling her Beyonce. And he sets her bed on fire and starts to spray it down with the shower sprayer, and then pulls it off, causes water to go over the place. I was like, that's not funny. Until the end where he goes, we need fresh towels in room 204. Bing. That made me laugh. That little joke at the end. We need fresh towels in room 204. Bing. But again, that was in the trailer. That was in the trailer. Him falling through the thing and going, we need fresh towels in room 204. Ding. Was in the trailer. I remember that from when it came out back in 2006. The year I graduated, by the way. I remember that. The hamburger joke was better in the trailer because it goes on for like 2 minutes of this lady trying to teach him how to say hamburger. When they quickly went through it in the trailer, that's funny. But it's extended in the movie, and it's like, how many times can he mess up the word hamburger? Hamburger burger. Hamburger burger. The burger. And the burger. Hamburger. Hamburger. Hamburger burger. Sometimes they sound like he's saying hamburger. Hamburger. Joey Tribbiani could learn French, could learn English faster, or could learn French faster than Clouseau could learn English. And he went, je te prie bleu. Sounds more French when he's trying to say hamburger in English. Hamburger. Of course, that leads to a joke later, where Dreyfus has switched Clouseau's bag out with one full of weapons. And not just like, oh, guns. No, there's like one gun in there. There's like knife. There's a mace. I do not have a mace. This is not mine. What do you... Just the way he said that. I do not own a mace. What is... There's other weapons in there. And, like, they want to know what else he's smuggling. And, of course, he's got 4 hamburgers in his pocket. But he can't say hamburger, so they end up thinking it's a weapon. Which, I'm sitting there going... Just show them what I mean. And of course, the scene is written so that Jean Reno is not allowed to get in there, because if he did, he could explain hamburger. He can't even yell hamburger. He's saying hamburger. No. Because I guarantee that Jean Reno, or whatever his name is, had to say hamburger, because there's a montage when they get to New York of him eating a hamburger. So if he can't say hamburger, because that's the only thing he can really say, they can understand. But no, he still can't say it, so I'm pretty sure Jean Reno had to say it for him. So he's saying hamburger. I don't know why. Because he's in on it, but he's not in on it. He knows what Dreyfus is doing, but he's not complicit. He doesn't want to, you know. Then you get to the final act. So... After Clouseau is embarrassed Dreyfus takes over the case, and he thinks it's this guy Peng because it was a Chinese poison that was used. So obviously, it's from someone from China, and like so that Clouseau would sit wallowing in his anguish, and he says that. So he's looking at this photo, and he notices something. They don't show it to the audience, but he notices something. And so he calls Jean Reno, and they have to go in. And Dreyfus has taken Clouseau's name off the list, so he can't enter. Which, I don't know. In the first one, he was able to enter these parties anyway, so I don't know why. So they have to sneak in. And so they sneak in, and they're wearing these weird costumes. And so then Nicole, who I haven't mentioned yet, is his female assistant played by Emily Mortimer, tells the guards that they are backup dancers. And then they proceed to dance terribly. Somehow this guy buys it, and then they track down the robber. But they're all wearing the same costume for some reason. And I thought the joke was going to be, oh, Clouseau's going to pull off the mask, and it's going to be Jean Reno, and the other guy's going to run away. No, it's him. But, like, because you have Dreyfus arresting Peng, and then I did like that. I liked this joke. Because it's an obvious one. All the guys wearing all the same costumes are sliding down. This is why, this joke was probably why they're all wearing the same costume. Sliding down. Clouseau, arrest him. Which one is it? One of them falls off the balcony. Is that just him? I left it down. So yeah, it's revealed to be Henry Czerny's character, the Russian guy. I was like, of course it's him. But the way that Clouseau comes about this, I don't think this is actually true. Because he says that if they are, whatever, I can't think of what his job is. But whatever his job is, requires him certain things that lead him like to be an expert marksman, I guess. It's in a code somewhere. Because he apparently stabbed Jason Statham with the poison dart in front of everyone and no one saw it. I mean, when they flash back to show it, it's in plain view. How did nobody else see that? It's not just like jabbing. No, he goes on him. Like, that's a big... How did nobody see that? And then he shot Bizou, whatever his name is. This other player that found out what had happened. Probably because he was the only one who saw him do that. And tried to blackmail him, which never works out in movies like this. So he shot him. Killed him. To the whatever lobe. And I guess also if you're in a position, you have to know to be an expert marksman and how to shoot the lobe. So, I don't know. And then they're like, well, what about the Pink Panther? Well, see, that's the thing. Much like the original, the Pink Panther was never actually stolen. You see, Jason Statham gave it to Beyonce as a wedding present, like I said. And Clouseau, while looking at that picture where he was wallowing, saw the Pink Panther diamond was in her purse, and he saw it when it went through the plane, the x-ray machine at the airport. In a picture. If he found that in a picture, that, by the way, is on newspapers. No one else has seen that. But more importantly, the airport security didn't see the giant-ass diamond in her purse. I know there was a distraction, but if... Come on. And she didn't think that it was going to show when she put her purse through the thing. Maybe it's because they were distracted, but if he found it in a picture, which, by the way, looks like a cartoon. Maybe it's a nod to the Pink Panther cartoon, I don't know, but it looked like a cartoon. She had it there. Then he puts it on her finger, and I'm like, he's like, if he gave it to her before he died, then it belongs to her. And he puts it on her finger, I'm like, there's no way she can wear that. It's going to be so heavy. There's no way. Yeah. And then we get another joke that's not funny because Chris Farley did it better 20 years earlier. Or at this point it'd be 93, whenever Tommy Boy came out. That 13 years earlier? Whatever. Yeah, 13 years earlier. Where he... Or is that Black Sheep? Which one? What? He get his... Whatever. He gets Dreyfus's coat stuck in the car door. And Dreyfus gets pulled all the way down the thing. Which, by the way, Dreyfus deserves it. He was essentially the main villain of this movie, even though he wasn't the thief. He was trying to make sure Clouseau didn't figure it out, because he wanted to figure it out. I don't know. I hear Klein was replaced by John Cleese in the second one, so we'll see if John Cleese is any better. I hear he is, but we'll see. I like John Cleese more anyway. Yeah, and that's the joke, is that, did you say something? No. You didn't say, stop the car, for the love of God, stop the car? No. It's a little funny. But there's just jokes in here, there was a simple joke earlier that is just, it's ruined because they go far into it, but it's because they want sexual humor here, I guess, where Clouseau is going to help his assistant, Nicole, off the desk. All he needed to do was him to pull her off and she slips and falls, kind of thing. Like he's whooped or something. But they do this thing where, for some reason, he doesn't know how to get her off the desk, and it ends up with his face in her crotch, and then Jean Reno walks in, or one of them walks, is it Dreyfus walks in? Someone walks in and sees this, and I'm just like, what is... And the thing is, I didn't see the full scene, because I saw him trying to get it down, and I looked away. When I looked back, his face was in her crotch, and I went, how did we get here? I didn't rewind it. I just went, how did we get here? A second ago, he was having a hard time getting it down. Next thing I know, his face is in her crotch. I don't know. It's not a bad movie. But I'll give it a high middle of the road. I liked it. It was fine. I like Steve Martin, and I like Jean Reno. So that's a plus. That they're both in the next one. So, and I like Sean Levy. He's a good director. Night Museum, the Deadpool, Wolverine, that stuff. And he did great with Stranger Things. I don't know. Maybe it was the script. I don't know who wrote it, but some people say, "Oh, that director fell." But oftentimes, it's not the director's fault. It's the writers. And if the director isn't one of the writers, then you gotta. And I didn't look at who. I think I have to, don't I? Quickly before I go. Turn on, you stupid. I always do that. I turn on the TV and then I try to use the Xbox controller to move it. It's not how it works. And I know this, but I still do it anyway. I was playing a little bit of 2K19, so I have to go out and pick the thing. Blue. Ah, da ba dee da ba da da ba dee da ba da. Oh, good. It's on the Pink Panther franchise page. Just click this. Okay, written by Len Blum and Steve Martin. Ooh. Oh my. Did they write the next one? That's what I want to know. Three people wrote the screenplay for the second one. Steve Martin, Scott Neustadter, Michael H. Weber, and then Neustadter and Weber also was on the story. So maybe it's the other guy. I don't know. John Cleese, Tommen, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. I don't know. For the sequel. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I liked it. But don't know. I've seen pieces of the second one. It was on a movie channel that I had. That I don't remember what it was. Is it Flix or something? I don't remember. Ion, maybe? I don't know. So what are your thoughts on the Pink Panther? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.